Hey friends, John Bush here with the third installment of a series on Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. I've been an entrepreneur since 2009, haven't had a 9 to 5 since then, and haven't looked back. And there's been lots of ups and downs. But as of late, I've managed to find a pretty good balance between my work and my life and my family. And I want to share with you some of the insights and wisdom that I've gained along the way. I'm actually recording this in Acapulco, Mexico, and one of the reasons that I'm able to do this and still run my business, which is selling natural health products, mainly Kratom and CBD, online and in retail stores back in Texas, is because of the work of Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. And today we're going to be talking about the automation section. So in the book, he has an acronym LEAD, L-E-A-D. DEAL, D-E-A-L. The first D is for definition, defining your dreams, your goals, be very specific, creating a dream line, which is kind of like a vision board. Then he talks about eliminating the 80% of your work and your overhead and just marketing that isn't producing results, focusing on the 20% that creates 80% of the results. And really going on an information fast and interrupting the incoming communication that constantly distracts us from the task at hand. And once you've done that, he talks about automation, how you can automate your business, automate your lifestyle, so you're able to take trips and go to Acapulco, for example. And then finally, the L, which we'll be doing the next video on, is for liberation. He talks about what to do when you have all this free time with the automated business, and how you can travel abroad and live for so much more affordably than in the United States, do cool things, take mini retirements as he calls them, but we'll get into more of that. The first video I did in this series was all about how you can really better achieve your goals if you line up with your purpose. And the theme that I was kind of going with was for parenting. I'm a father of 2 and homeschool and unschool the kiddos. And I'm also an entrepreneur, so oftentimes there's a lot of struggle finding balance with that. And as I said, I've found more balance as of late, and that was the inspiration for doing this series of videos. I'm also offering consultations too. I think I've gained a lot of info and insights and strategies and tactics that I would love to share with people that are trying to seek out the same goals, like digital nomad, working smarter, not harder. I'm not anywhere close to a 4-hour work week, but I'm closer than I was before. So if you're interested in consultation, there'll be a link on this video where you can set an appointment. We can hit that up. All right, so let's talk about automation. There'll also be links to the previous parts on this video if you haven't caught those as well. Basically, there's 2 things in this section, automation, from Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. He talks about outsourcing life, mainly delegating and using a virtual assistant. And then he talks about an income autopilot, or a muse, where you intentionally create a business with the sole purpose of bringing in revenue for the fulfillment of your dream line, of your goals, of your dreams. And the cool thing about the outsourcing life section and the virtual assistant section, this is stuff that I've actually applied in my business, and it's completely changed the game. A lot of people think, oh, virtual assistant, that's going to be hard to manage. Somebody in India, that doesn't make sense. There's also virtual assistants in the States. However, they're a lot more affordable, the ones that you get that are overseas. And so I think that's a great idea. I've done that with my own business. When I ran Brave New Books, we had an online store, and we loaded it up with all sorts of health products and books, a bunch of book titles. I was pulling a lot of the book titles. We carried a good chunk of them, but most of them I would just pull from Ingram, which is a wholesale distributor. We set up an arrangement where someone would order a book, we didn't have to have it in stock, and we would be able to drop ship it. So Ingram would be the one to ship it out. But it would have taken a whole lot of time in order for me to grab all of those items and input them as products in Shopify, which is very time consuming. So I hired a virtual assistant. I simply made a spreadsheet with the link to the desired book, which already had the information, the description, the suggested retail price. And I made a spreadsheet with all the health products that we had as well, exported from the previous point of sale. And I paid a virtual assistant $7 an hour to input all of these as individual products, something that would have taken me such a long time, and my time is much more valuable than $7 an hour. There's a lot of tasks with my business as the leader of the business that no one else can do, so it's better to focus on those things rather than some tasks that anyone can do, really. And so that was a great experience of mine working with a virtual assistant. It worked really well. I saw that they were extremely competent, they were extremely affordable, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that. I've also had virtual assistants help me with some research projects. There's a whole list of things that virtual assistants can do. I shared about it online on Facebook, and I was all excited about it, and a bunch of people were like, America first, can't you have given that job to an American? And I was like, well, are you willing to do it for $7 an hour? And plus, who's to say that an American is more worthy or deserving of the job than someone that's living in India who's also struggling or looking? $7 US is a great deal in India, so whatever. Kind of just brush that off. Here are some tasks that virtual assistants handle: scheduling interviews and meetings, web research, following up on appointments, errands and tasks, online purchases, document creation, proofreading, website maintenance, managing recruitment process, voicemail transcription, market research, financial research, business plans and industry analysis, credit scoring, all sorts of stuff, you name it. There's even stuff you can do in your personal life, like have your virtual assistant send your wife a bouquet of roses or something if you get in a fight, which is mentioned in the book. I highly recommend using this. I was going to say I had a virtual assistant that compiled a list of Bitcoin accepting businesses so I could contact them in an effort where I was trying to get 100 businesses to accept Dash cryptocurrency. Pretty soon I'm going to be having them make lists to help me get Kratom into head shops and natural health stores, CBD as well. So the possibilities are endless, and I highly recommend this really efficient way of doing things so you can free your time up to focus on the commanding heights of the business, on growing, expanding, innovating, what entrepreneurs ought to be doing. Outsourcing and delegating away the tasks that you don't enjoy doing that someone else could do. Maybe someone else could even do better. I know that when I'm like doing data research and data entry, I'm easily distracted. I'm looking forward to a notification over here. I'm taking lots of breaks. I'm surfing this and that. So let someone else do it, and they'll do it for really affordable prices. Another thing that I did was outsourced. This is huge. This was such a catalyst for my ability to be here in Mexico for 6 months and for 6 weeks earlier in February and March. I did it right before I left for Anarchapulco to spend 6 weeks with my family in Acapulco earlier this year. And that is the use of a fulfillment center to ship out my products. So all the products that I sell, Kratom and CBD, they're physical products. I'm home based in Austin, Texas, although lately I've been doing the digital nomad thing, which is great. And those products have to get shipped. And before, it was me shipping them, or I was working with one of my partners and associates, Emilio, who's doing a great job on that front. But it was a whole lot of work. It was time consuming, and again, as the leader of the organization, I needed to be focused on innovation and expanding and growing and building new relationships and marketing, which is actually something that I enjoy doing. So it was totally time consuming. Plus, what would I do if I wanted to go to Acapulco or even travel for a week in the state of Texas? My orders would get backed up, and it's certainly not feasible to ship them here from Mexico. So I packaged up a whole lot of Kratom and CBD, and I took it to a fulfillment center in Austin, Texas. The fulfillment center software backdoors into my WooCommerce point of sale, and whenever an order is executed, assuming that the payment method is approved, then it's automatically sent to the fulfillment center, who then executes the shipment of it, and they input the tracking code back into the WooCommerce platform, thus emailing the customer. Man, this has been a huge game changer for me, and it's enabled me basically to work from wherever. I do need to have to go back and re-up on the Kratom and packaging. Right now I do all of the labels and I create the bag, and then we take it to a commercial kitchen licensed facility to do all of the packaging. I'm in the process of automating that and outsourcing that. And even though it's going to be more expensive, of course, than me doing it and hiring people to do it, I'm going to hire someone to lead doing that. It's really going to free up my time to expand the business, and most importantly, to line up with my purpose right now, which is to spend more time with my kiddos. But the beautiful thing is my business lines up with my purpose as well, as an activist, as a compassionate person trying to help people get off of prescription painkillers and pharmaceuticals and stuff. So That's what automating is all about. It's enabled me to spend the day on the beach here in Acapulco while an order goes through. And now, mind you, I want to talk about something real quick, not get too off topic, but Tim Ferriss also talks a lot about cycles and how we don't have to work 9 to 5 all year with like a couple little vacations. We can really hustle up, work hard for 2 months, and then take off for 2 or 3 months, or work hard for a week and then take half the next week off, assuming you eliminated and automated makes this more likely. So before leaving Acapulco this time, we got here on October 1st. The last 2 to 3 weeks of September, man, I was putting in 60 to 70, 80 hours sometime, just nonstop, getting all of the Kratom prepped, ordered, packaged, overseeing everything, prepping for this trip, finalizing some systems, automating more systems, and it was really painful. It was hard on me, it was hard on my kids, but working hard at that time has enabled me to have more of a leisurely pace when it comes to my work and really just enjoy the sunsets and hanging out with my kiddos, which is great. So it does take time to set up, and it may not seem urgent at first, but once you get these systems, whether it's training a virtual assistant or setting up a fulfillment center for your products, it's really worth it. And one thing, a task comes up and you're like, oh, well, I can just do it myself faster than training a virtual assistant, typing up a little SOP. That may be the case, but in the long run, it'll free up more of your time. And a tip that I have for you, this is a great tactic that you can use in order to better do this, is whenever you're doing a task that's begrudging, any task really, this goes back to the E-Myth, the Entrepreneur Myth book, it's good to write that down as you're doing it. Go ahead and create that SOP that you'll later communicate to someone in your staff or someone that you've delegated to. That's a little tip. Write it down as you're doing the task and then outsource it to a virtual assistant or delegate it to someone. The next thing he talks about is income autopilot. Basically, he calls them a muse. And this is finding a business that may not even be your passion. You may not be super excited about it, but finding a business specifically for the purpose of generating revenue and income so you can fulfill your dreams. And this business basically runs on autopilot. That's why he calls it income autopilot. And he talks about going and doing research and finding niches, being extremely niche-y with your products. He gives a great example of someone that sells sound effects, and it's all completely automated. Later on in that chapter, he talks about the infrastructure for Muse, having it all completely automated. He talks about this guy that sells the sound effects. So someone goes to the website, connected through Google AdSense, they put out ads and they put out marketing in magazines. They see the website, they make the order, the CD is automatically created off-site with an outsourced third-party company. Credit card is charged, the invoice from the third-party company that creates the CD is sent to the company pays the invoice, and the company that creates the CD is shipped, they ship the CD to the customer. So basically, all the guy that started this company has to do is check in on the systems to make sure that they're working and to collect the money. He talks about how you can test this by doing Google ads and testing your advertising to see what works best. And the architecture, again, he just maps it out with the marketing to the customer, the credit card, the payments, and then you outsource. There's all sorts of ways to do this. There's so many different industries. One thing I think is real insightful is he talks about how you can sell information in the form of DVDs or online media, how easy it is to become an expert. You don't have to have a PhD. You just have to know more than your audience and be able to deliver it in an educational and informative way. There's all sorts of ways to make money out there, and all you got to do is just believe in yourself, really. And I would highly recommend checking out this book, The 4-Hour Workweek. That's a bit on the section of automating. I know from firsthand experience it's helped me so much. And if you're busy, if you're looking for a new life, if you need a break from the rat race, if you're parents, especially if you're homeschooling or unschooling parents and you want to be able to spend more time with your kids, make work-life balance work, the stuff talked about in the 4-Hour Workweek can really help. And again, I want to remind you I'm offering one-on-one consultations where we can talk about these tips and strategies. I can share some of the stuff that I've learned along the way in a personalized way to help you and your business, or to help you to start your own business. And you can sign up for an appointment in a link in this video. All right, well, thanks again for watching. The next video that we're gonna do is on the 4th section, the L liberation, which was great. I've really been getting a great solid taste of that as of late. This is John Bush, peace and freedom. I'm out, thanks.